Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Chiefs Blitz Podcast, presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831, 816-405-5831. After all, he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome to Armageddon Day. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I am your host, Nick Athan, formerly of Working Illustrated. This is the Chiefs Blitz Podcast. We're joined today by Superman, Hense Todd, Lou Montagna, and Coach Andre Tillman. Guys, yuck. That's all I got to say. But let's open the show with some positive news. Let's talk about our new sponsor, the one and only Mr. Dave Purdy. If you don't know anything about Dave, he is a mortgage lender. He is a gentleman who has been part of my DNA for a long time. We've known each other for years. If you're looking for a solution in the mortgage industry, you're looking for a good rate, you're looking for someone who's going to take care of you from start to finish, give Dave Purdy a call at 816-405-5831 and MLS number 7496. We choose Dave because he is what, guys? He is pretty good. Thanks, Dave. Look forward to having you on. Official. It's now official. We're all good. And, guys, I tend not to overreact in my older years on this planet when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs because I've seen every heartbreak possible. To me, this loss was the Tennessee Titans a couple years ago. It was the Super Bowl against the Bucs. This is 1,000 other losses this team has had throughout the decades. And the Denver Broncos had all the answers. They knew where the Chiefs were running in their routes. They always had a guy covering them. The play calling was terrible. The offensive line wasn't very good. Patrick Mahomes, refuses to check down. I mean, you can put a list together of about 20 or 30 different things, and they all went bad. And this isn't one of those games where if one or two things went right, they would have won. They needed 4 or 5 or 6 things to go right, and they just couldn't push all the buttons. So for me, I told you guys when we did the schedule, like way back when, to beat Denver twice in 3 weeks is really difficult. I didn't think they'd have him. I gave him a homer pick on Friday's show. I knew better. Even in my column, I'm like, I just can't do it, but I did it anyway, thinking the Chiefs would somehow pull it out, but they didn't. And hey, they're still atop the AFC West. They are still number one in the AFC, even though the new Super Bowl rankings are out, and the Baltimore Ravens have moved ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs in the best odds to win Super Bowl 58. Thoughts?
Well, I'm gonna say this.
I'm gonna say this.
Off the back.
I'm going. I'm gonna say this. Come on. Even though that we lost, a lot of people don't want to put the blame on number 15. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it, guys. Patrick Mahomes has not been playing pretty good this year. You know what I mean? If you look at the stats, you look at the interceptions, you look how the ball is getting forced down the field, and it's looking like he's just forcing it to one person is Travis Kelce.
I called it.
And I feel like you got to get this ball going. I've been saying it since we started this show together, guys. We got to get these young guys involved. Even though they dropped some balls, you still got to go back to them. Not saying Patrick Mahomes is a bad quarterback because he's the best quarterback ever to play this game. I'm just saying this year it looks like, yes, we don't have that key number one wide receiver, but you got to make everybody else great around you instead of trying to, because looked like it to me watching the game. It looks like, even my son was watching. He said it looked like he's just forcing the ball to Kelce, and some of them interceptions you can see that. But other than that, man, the Broncos, all good things got to come to an end. Okay, guys, all good things got to come to an end. You know what I mean? Yeah, we beat them multiple times, but hey, all things got to come to an end. And the Chiefs are still the top of the division at the end of the day. Like Nick said, the Chiefs still on top of the AFC, the AFC. So it doesn't matter at the end, but it does matter when you lose to bad teams. You can't come out here losing to bad teams and expect to go on and win. And yes, it's hard to win back to back, But again, you guys to play better than that. I thought I'd see better than that. It looked like the guys wasn't ready. Go ahead, Dre.
Well, let me say this: you over sugarcoating stuff a little bit, young man. Let me break it down for Hense real quick. Receive Rice got his touches. Right? Receive Rice got his touches, right? He got his touches, right? He was like 4 for 4, a couple yards. He did well. Kelsey he was targeted 9 times, I think 9 for 7, something like that. Sky Moore was targeted 1 time, I believe, up to 1 to 0 catches, something like that. What I was trying to tell the kingdom is this: you got to put some respect on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. They honed in. They start honing in. They start playing better defense. They start to figure out who the Denver Broncos are, right? And of course, they ran the ball 27 times, right? Again, slow down the pass rush. So to me, Denver played fairly well. They played Denver Broncos football. And again, I've been saying this too. Patrick Mahomes is forcing the ball. He's forcing the ball to one player. Yes, he's been like this since he's been playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. He don't check down. He doesn't believe in check down. Mahomes believes in the big play, right? It's people wide open. Check the ball down. Don't force the issue, right? And you look and look at the last play. I had to really check it out again. Sky Moore, the last play. We threw the bomb to Sky Moore. It was in his hands, and he should have caught the ball. But
thanks for your cogent analysis there, Coach Dre. Yeah, it was right there. You saw him on the side. You see him on the sideline, and you can almost read his lips. I lost it, almost like he lost it in the sun. But first things first, was that the most beautiful intro we've had of all the shows we've had so far? Come on now. Thanks for our man from KMOX or wherever he's from for throwing my name in there. That was awesome. As fans, you want to look everybody. You want to look for somebody to blame, right?
Everything good.
What are we doing? Why can't we score 50 points every game? Why can't we do this? And I think we talked about it leading up into the game is where if the Chiefs lost this game, they were going to have to contribute mightily to Denver doing this. And they did. All due respect to Sean Payton, the Broncos, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson threw for just maybe 20 more yards than he did in the game that they lost. But it was very efficient. They didn't run the ball extremely well. They ran it efficiently. Javonte Williams had some nice runs. But at the end of the day, it was the turnovers, drop passes, all the mistakes. It just defensively, I thought the Chiefs played well enough to win the game. They got plenty of pass rush. They did let Russ slip out a few times, but It wasn't like some terrific performance that they came out and laid down the gauntlet and really beat them. The Chiefs beat themselves. McCall, as always, is an adventure in punt return. For every maybe one time that he breaks one, there's going to be a bunch that he either lets them bounce when he shouldn't, he drops it when he maybe shouldn't even try to field it. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. Patrick was sick, and you can say all these different things. Offensively, they just didn't look like they were ready to play at all. And really getting into the weeds, short yardage, still getting way too cute with the calls. Red zone, and sometimes they're tied together. Got to be a hell of a lot better than that, right? Forget about Patrick dropping the getting hit the strip sack, but just when getting inside the 10, you got to convert those as touchdowns. I mean, that was just so. Hey, it happens. Watch the tape over again. Get on the plane. Move on. Got to get big game this week. Everything's still ahead of us. But I am starting to come around on maybe making a move for a veteran wide receiver because, again, through this whole extended audition for the younger guys, Rashee Rice has come along, but still in the middle of the field, drop pass. Now, again, you're not going to catch every ball, but when it was thrown behind him. But what? I watched it. Right, hold on. These are professional wide receivers. He's in the middle of the field. Nobody around him. If he just has to move his hands, you still got to catch that ball. It's rarely going to be right here every time. So anyway, yes, I like the way Rice is playing, but again, there just has to be a little bit more consistency in the receiver position, and maybe, just maybe, they make a move.
Well, let me address a couple of things. One, I think the biggest problem with Mahomes, let's set aside he wasn't feeling good. There's no question he wasn't 100% because he wasn't moving like he was.
No,
There's two things that really hurt him in this football game. One, his offensive line was bad, and I'm not just talking about the tackles. The interior of the offensive line had probably their worst game collectively that I've seen since they've all been together. They were just nobody was in sync. Nobody was helping the other guy out. When you're with Mahomes, there's one thing you have to do. After you make the first block, you got to make the second. Because if this guy's going to freestyle the offense because he is being overly selective at who he's going to throw the ball to on every snap, you've got to keep pushing defenders away from him, not into him. I mean, Donovan Smith gets credit for a sack in this game. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they are this out of sync on that offensive line, and that's part of the problem. The second, as you mentioned it, guys, listen, I mean, I rewatched some of the game last night, and then the 3rd and 2s and the 4th and 2s and stuff like that. All Mahomes has to do is use his safety valve. Why was Russell Wilson so effective? Why did Russell Wilson defeat the Chiefs on Sunday? Because he threw the ball where there wasn't a defender, and Mahomes, for whatever reason, just refuses to take the easy play, looking for something a little bit more flashy and spectacular. And I blame that partially on the head coach too, who likes to drive up stats. Listen, it's about getting first downs. It's about converting in the red zone. And these are things that this team is struggling with. And they have the personnel, but you can't get cute. You can't get fancy. When Patrick Mahomes was at his best last year, what did he do? He took what the defense gave him. He is not doing that this year. And I don't understand it. I mean, you don't need to pad the stats between he and Kelsey. You don't need to be in a situation to where, you look at this situation or that situation and you pigeonhole yourself with one receiver. And, that's the problem. Use everybody. If they used everybody like they have in some of their big wins this year, you know what? Maybe the outcome is different. But as good as the defense was, and there are a lot of stupid penalties, they couldn't get off the field at times. There was a lot of issues all around. There were 5 or 6 things that went wrong, and at least 2, 3, or 4 of them had to go right for the Chiefs win. And had McColl not fumbled that kick return, maybe, they're still down by a single score. We see the true Mahomes magic, but we never got that opportunity. And listen, Lou, you hit the nail on the head. The Chiefs are only going to lose to opponents that aren't better or aren't worse. They're going to lose because they beat themselves, and they keep beating themselves. They beat themselves in the Lions loss. They beat themselves in the Broncos loss. And until they correct that mentality, because right now what's happening is one mistake, you start with the MVS fumble, then 2 interceptions, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're not in a position right now offensively where they're talented enough at the receiver position to overcome that much of a snowball effect. And until that changes, they're going to struggle, and they better get ready for the Dolphins right here. They better get ready for the Dolphins on Sunday because they got a lot to prove as well.
A whole other continent.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this. Real quick, though, guys.
It's fixable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna say this. Mahomes' QBR was a 58. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, right? Because he's forcing the ball.
It's the worst game he had.
Absolutely, and
the worst game he had. Yeah,
he does struggle with this just about every year. He goes through a little spot of a few games where he doesn't do, he doesn't take the checkdowns and so forth. Now he did on a few, and they actually lost yardage on them, but it's just something that he battles with, and it's going to continue, because if you want the spectacular at times, you kind of have to put up with some of these, and it's just horrible because it's losing them games where they're not scoring as many points as they used to, and they get more shots on goal. Where now it's like, hey, we're not scoring enough to make up for these mistakes. So
real quick,
again,
Lou,
it's going to be it's going to take some, take
a
few more games. He'll get through it.
Real quick, Lou, that's a good point. That's why Tom Brady is the GOAT.
What you gonna say? All that? Just say that. Okay,
No,
I'll put it like
said, no, wait, hold on. I'm saying Tom Brady he takes what the defense
What's
gives
in the
him.
cup today, sir? Drinking coffee?
He takes what the defense gives him. Now, hear me out though. Mahomes doesn't take what the defense gives him. Mahomes want to force the issue. He want to be the excitement. He want to keep the excitement going, right? He want to keep the thrill going. It's not about the thrill. It's about winning the games.
Yep. If your man's when he doesn't, the conversation rolls around to where are the explosives? Why can't we score quicker? So
who you pleasing?
I hear it. I'm not saying he's trying to please anybody. Again, it's just one of those things. Players play. Josh Allen goes through it on a regular basis. That's just it's in the DNA. To get all those explosives, you have to take chances. Now I'm saying that he has to. That's just the way he's wired. So it takes sometimes a few games of seeing this on film over and over again, and he straightens himself out. So hopefully it happens sooner than later. But sometimes you just got to live with it. Gunslinger.
Again, but he's not patient. Mahomes ain't patient though. Mahomes' issue is not being patient. He has to be patient and take what the defense gives.
Well, he wasn't yesterday. That's for sure.
I'll put it like this, man. Again, I'm gonna say it again. Mahomes is the greatest quarterback ever to play this game. But again, if we're gonna go win these games like Miami, that's gonna put up points. If you're gonna only put up 9 points against the Broncos, you can't get in. We ain't show no offense that can get in the shootout
of this generation, sir. Not all time great.
I'm looking for offense to get in the shootout, sir. And then we can't get in the shootout with Miami and can't get down 14 points, and we can't got to get down the field, and we're not gonna win this game. Then next, guess what, guys? You got Philadelphia Eagles coming up too. So if you can't, it's gonna be up. That's why I said the last show. I said we cannot lose this game because we lose them back-to-back games to Miami against the Eagles. Then we're in a hole. We're in a hole trying to climb our way out of it. But again, like what Lou said, do they need a veteran receiver? Yeah, but who? Who do they go get? You know what I mean? Who they go get? You know what I mean? So I'll put it like this. They are putting the ball, or they trying to force Kelsey the ball. I understand that everything runs to Kelsey, but you got to get these young guys going. And the only way you're going to get them going if you put the ball in their hands.
And they dropped the ball. So I'm not.
But they still have to feed him.
He dropped one ball.
Yeah, he dropped absolutely. And he is. I mean, how many games has it been where he hits like 9 or 10 guys in a game?
Yeah,
9 or 10 different guys.
Them. He keeps hitting them. I mean, with Sky Moore and Rasheed Rice, and
I get it.
When Justin Ross was out there, you have to you got to keep feeding the ball. Whether they make this, listen, this is your group. Yeah, there's DeAndre Hopkins is barring a complete stance in the organizational philosophy.
They did showcase him yesterday,
and the Titans who'd have to be willing to eat $7 million of that contract. Yes, the Chiefs can fit his $1.5 million cap space. For the remainder of the year with what they have $3.5 million. They could restructure Travis Kelce's deal and create another $4.5 million. So there's definitely options to do it. But this team has never traded for, under the Veach Reed era, for a superstar at the trade deadline. And I don't think this is going to be that year, but I get it. I mean, if you're going to go after someone, go after the Vikings, KJ Osborne. I mean, he's playing really well right now. He's not a free agent.
They did go after that guy. And that guy was who? Tony. They said that guy was Tony. Kadarius Tony is going to be their number one.
I told you that.
Hold on, let me finish. Kadarius Tony was going to be their number one, and he's supposed to be taking over the Tyreek Hill role. And yesterday was his fully first year that was in the system. That was his fully first year after the game yesterday was his. That's the day that they trade for him. He came over, so he's fully first year. As looking at it, yes, he came over injured. I still have hope for this guy because I know, I see them all. I went back and watched all 22 films. I know everybody said it just isn't from the sky view, but I've seen this kid open multiple times. I've seen this kid open multiple times on different games that the ball is not getting thrown to him.
No, you're right.
Yes,
you're right.
Yes. Do we trust Travis Kelce? Good, yes. But you got to get these guys going. And this is their number one. If they say it's their number one, yes. But the numbers is not showing that. You know what I mean? Because he's not getting targeted much. I don't feel like the guy's getting targeted much. And as we all making a key point here, we all agreeing on something that they need to stop to put the ball around in patience, right? Lou said they need to go get he's kind of jumping on the bandwagon that they probably go get a number one wide receiver. They had their number one wide receiver, and I really feel I think it's Rashee Rice. Yeah. I really do. I really do think it's Rashee Rice. And I feel like Andy Reid got to get out of that mindset that I can't go to rookies all the time and let this kid eat. Give him the ball more.
Yeah.
Give him the ball more.
But listen, guys, it comes down. The reason why I brought up Tom Brady because patience.
Back off camera.
Mahomes is not patient. Mahomes is not patient. That's all it is, Lou. You talking about receiver, and he's talking about Kadarius Toney, Rashee Rice. The thing why I agree with Nick is this. If y'all watch all the games, big games Mahomes was in, right? All the games he lost, right? He didn't check the ball down.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't check the ball down. Check the ball down, and then we'll see a different Mahomes. Like Hense said, he's the greatest of all time. No, he's not. Until he checks that ball down, no, he's not. Until he checks that ball down,
one bad game.
And use everybody, and use no, he didn't. And use everybody, bro. It's gonna be the same outcome with Mahomes. It's gonna be the same outcome.
Okay, well, let's listen.
You go over.
We can't compare the two at this point. It's impossible to compare it because of the length of time that Brady was in the NFL. I think it's going to be nearly impossible for Patrick Mahomes to get 7 Super Bowl wins.
I'm talking about as far as like
I know
trusting your guys and checking the ball down.
But you got to remember if you're gonna make this comparison, there was a 10-year gap between Super Bowls, and there's a reason for that. Yeah. Tom Brady was a different quarterback, and he didn't do the same things that he did early on. And then he finally said, "Listen, it's been 10 damn years. I'm done. I got to go back to what I was doing before." And what did he do? He went back to playing more like he did in the early years than in the middle years when they were worried about stats and perfect records and breaking the Dolphins streak, et cetera, et cetera. Now it's like, okay, so if Mahomes is going to shorten that curve, then he's going to have to take a page from the Brady playbook. But then again, listen, at the end of the day, this is like I said, this is no different than the Titans loss a couple years ago. This is no different than Super Bowl, the Super Bowl loss against the Bucs. You start unraveling early in the game. You miss opportunities. You get, first and goal from the 5 and you don't score a touchdown. That's when you lose. If the Chiefs just come out rolling in all the games they've won this year, they for the most part, they put a stretch in the early stages of the game offensively where they made good plays. So listen, defense was good. It wasn't great. The offense stunk. Special teams outside of Harrison Buckner. I really thought this was going to be a 15-14 game at some point, that Buckner was just going to kick 5 field goals and Kansas City was going to win it. But right now, I think Justin Reid said it best. This is a teaching moment. This is a learning moment. It's good for this football team in all phases to kind of fall flat. And now we're going to see what they're made of next Sunday against Miami with a 2-week gap before they play the Eagles.
Everybody keeps saying, hold on.
They're too good not to.
Everybody keeps saying about this Tom Brady thing, like Dre just mentioned. Come on, man. He had Gronk one year.
No
Come on, hold on. Let me finish. He had Gronk, Randy Moss. Oh, then he left to where, he went to build his superstar team. He had Antonio Brown, which is a Hall of Famer. He had Mike Evans. He had Goodwin. He had a great offensive line. So let's give Patrick Mahomes a chance to see what these guys can do.
No. So I'm not let you get that one, sir. No. When Brady was in his first 2 Super Bowls, he didn't have none of these superstars. Listen, he didn't have none of these superstars. Listen. Let me ask you this. Who did he have in his first 2 Super Bowls? And who did he have in the first 2 Super Bowls?
Defense.
What receivers did he have?
You're right. No, he had great.
The other side.
What do you have?
All right, but the other side again. That's really not the issue. If you look at Brady in those first few years, how many of those games or how much of that team was on his shoulders? Yeah. 0. It was mostly defense, and he was checking down because that's kind of all he had. So I hear what you're saying about Patrick being more patient, but the comparison to Brady at this point, you'd have to go back to Brady in his 6th or 7th year starting to see where he was. So, I mean, again, the comparison right now is maybe for another day. I think we're just looking at this past game.
Defense give you.
And that everybody agrees on that. I think it's just the bottom line is Patrick goes through this every single year. He's got to work through it. He will. It's a matter of time. That's really all you can say.
That's all I say. That's all I was saying, Lou. That's all I was saying. That's all I was trying to say. Is Drake.
I definitely disagree with that, man. I feel like once he's patient, once he's patient, when he becomes patient, right. When he becomes patient, different ball. We're
gonna get to the next topic. We're gonna go here from our next sponsor, sir. What you got to say about what's our next sponsor, Nick? Go ahead and let us know.
All right, we also want to welcome Eric Haynes into the family. He's with the Eric Haynes Group, a part of SunWest Real Estate KW Partners. If you're looking for somebody who's going to treat you fair, find the house, show you house after house till you find what you're looking for, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785. You can reach him at esaleskc@gmail.com. He's a good guy. I've known him a really long time. He's going to come on the show. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. We've both seen a lot of crazy things in our days. And but Eric's your guy. Again, if you're looking for a real estate professional that's going to go the extra mile, give Eric a call at 816-729-3785.
Go, Eric.
Hey,
go, Eric.
Let's go,
Eric.
Right.
Just speaking of Eric, man, what's his name? Justin Reed, he said the loss, every losing is sucking, man. Like losing the game really sucked. That's only I feel like I get hope from this game is seeing the players actually come out and say, hey, you know what I mean? We got our butt kicked. We looked ahead of the game, and we overlooked the donkeys, man. I'm not gonna call them Broncos, but the donkeys. We overlooked the donkeys, and that's what happened, man. And what y'all think about that? You know what I mean?
It's over. I mean, at the end of the day, listen, I'd rather have a blowout. I'd rather have a blowout, and this is a blowout. Let's just be honest, because the Chiefs were really never in this football game. And I'd rather have a blowout to not linger mentally and emotionally as you go into a big game against one of the AFC powerhouses. This is the first of three they're going to face, and the Dolphins and the Bills and the Bengals. Ironically, had they not taken this game to Germany, all three of those would have been at Arrowhead. But nonetheless, hey, wash it behind you. They got a big travel day on Thursday. I think the Dolphins are leaving today for Germany. I know why Andy likes to go a few days before. He wants to get the system in place and the plays ready. Go through a couple of workouts in Kansas City. They'll fly out Thursday. But listen, there's nothing they can do about it now. I don't think even the most diehard of Chiefs fans watching the game yesterday kind of felt like they were going to win that football game. It was just one of those Sundays. And right now it's all focused on the Miami Dolphins. And if they make a trade, they make a trade. I don't see it, but guys, we can debate this all we want. We've said pretty much all we can say, but right now we're going to find out, if Justin Reed is right, we're going to find out what kind of football team this team is, and if they bounce back and they beat the Dolphins, no one's going to say another word about the Broncos. They'll be 7-2 going the bye week. They'll maintain their top spot in the AFC West and the top spot in the AFC. And then they get to play the Super Bowl runner-ups at Arrowhead on Monday Night Football after the bye week. We all know what Andy does after bye week. So I'm feel pretty confident that they're going to turn this thing around when it's all said and done.
How was Reed's block? How was that? That was a great play.
Yeah, that was one of the best plays of the game.
On the field goal block. You think usually when you block any sort of kick or punt, that normally so I thought, here we go. I was like, this will get everybody woken up.
The ball doesn't bounce to the kicker. That's someone's going to scoop that and score.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, that's when your luck's bad. You block a kick, and where does the ball bounce?
And it goes right
into the hands of the kicker. Anywhere else on the field.
The ball bounces funny for everybody. Yesterday was not bouncing for the Chiefs.
Oh
that's
my
for
God,
sure.
No kidding. All right.
So is Justin Reed is the first person that blocked the kick and kick a field goal? You know what I mean? Like a player that does, did that.
I don't know. That's a good.
I believe so.
Probably so.
Excellent question.
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's something you have to really look into. Like,
go to the research, get the crack research staff.
I'm pretty sure that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah, gotta look at They got to be a Chiefs hoop, in the future.
That must be a Chiefs hoop.
Well, Justin already was, so I'm not going to do any repeats. All right, come on.
I feel like that.
So, you got 51 more to do.
That was Patrick Mahomes' first loss, on the road to an AFC West team, and looking at that, I don't see no more.
A lot of streaks got broken.
A lot of streaks got broken. I don't see no more coming after that. With to the AFC West, I don't see no more coming after that. If I feel like I told Dre yesterday, I said I feel like this is a wake up game for them. They needed this butt kicking to really get them going. To really, you can't take again. No shots at the Chiefs social media group. I just seen that it was posting more about London instead of posting more about
Frankfurt. Look at Nick's shirt. Frankfurt. Nick, show him your shirt. It's Frankfurt.
Yeah, Frankfurt. They're posting more about that than the Broncos game or the what I was seeing. I could be wrong, but I feel like
it's a pretty big deal for the organization.
Yeah,
the whole thing about Germany. Yeah, I hear your point. Absolutely. First things first.
It's all about the money.
First things first, right?
I know,
and
right?
What the hell was Travis doing at that World Series game? He's not focused. Come on.
They've done that. I can't tell you how many times those two. And I don't think Mahomes went because he wasn't feeling good. But I mean, it's like I can't tell you how many times those guys have taken a trip on Friday. Remember, Patrick has access to a private jet.
Oh, come on! I mean,
it's an hour flight.
I think that was a Shannon.
Listen, they didn't lose. They didn't lose this game because Taylor Swift wasn't there. They didn't lose this game because Travis Kelce went to go watch a baseball game.
Awfully coincidental that his numbers are so much better than Taylor's.
I'm not even going there. I'm not even going to.
Don't start, Lou.
I'm not disrespecting the man. I mean,
roll the videotape.
Her tour has made her $1 billion so far. She knows where her money's at, and Kelce knows where his money's at. So listen, the Chiefs just laid an egg, and that's all there is to it.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
That's right.
And it is. Speaking of Taylor Swift, I seen this meme on NFL memes. It is very funny. No shots at the Swifties. It's just all joking fun.
This is a perfect segue. Let's go. Roll it.
They said, they said this is Swifties fans trying to find a Chiefs game yesterday. So let's go ahead and watch it.
I can't find it. It doesn't seem to be on any of these stations.
Keep looking.
Oh, you're going too slow. Let me take the wheel.
It's too fast. How could you even tell what's on?
I can tell.
Who set it?
Back. Too late. I'm in the 40s. Got to go around the horn. Fast.
Shaquan McMillan.
Oh man.
I love Kevin Harlan.
There's no one better than Kevin Harlan, and he had Kevin Harlan, Trent Green calling the game, and the Chiefs laid an egg in front of both those
legends.
The referees didn't step in the nick of time.
No. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good video. So let's go ahead and hear before we close out. Here a shout out to our fans that was watching. Dre, go ahead.
All right, you know what it is. Kareem, Joe Delaney, he always a popular guy on the show. Brian Frazier, hello, sir. How you doing?
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, what up? My boy Red Salsa, Vincent DeCarlo. If I said his name right,
you did. I said it right.
I'm impressed with myself.
That's all right. That's good.
Phenomenal. I feel great. Yeah. Again, yeah, absolutely. But again, guys, appreciate the love. Keep it coming, guys.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
Absolutely. Guys, again, it wasn't our week. It didn't happen. We'll be back Wednesday on a segment we're going to call Four Guys in a Bar. We're going to have no plan. We're just going to yak, and whatever comes up, we talk about. If you want any questions, check us out on social media. You want to ask us stuff, you can certainly do it in the chat as well. Thank everybody for being part of ChiefsBlitz.com. Please go to our YouTube page, subscribe. Again, once we hit the magic number of 1,000, I'm giving away a priceless, one-of-a-kind Len Dawson signed item that I know of only 3 that exist anywhere in this country. And if you're a Len Dawson fan like me, This is definitely, and you're a collectible person. This is something you definitely want to have. Again, I want to thank our sponsors for being part of the show. Dave Purdy, he's been a friend for a long time. Looking forward to Eric Haynes as well. Looking forward to working with these guys. And if you need to get a hold of Dave, 816-405-5831. We only choose the best, and Dave is pretty good. And Eric Haynes, man, I've known him a really long time. He looks young, but he's got a few miles on him as well. And we're certainly excited that Eric's on board as well.
Eric catching strays.
Catching a little stray here. Yeah. But anyway, guys, we'll be back on Wednesday.
BYOB.
That's right. Bring it on. Hence,
Andre. We got Chiefs Hoot too coming Wednesday. So
we got a cool graphic for that. Shout out to Lynn Schmidt, who's on his I think he's traveling to Germany this week. So we're excited to get some reports from him. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe we can get him on the show on Friday, and he can
from
give us
Germany. Yes,
from Germany. I'm gonna bug him about that later today. Anyway, guys, thanks for a great show. We're out. We'll see you next Wednesday. We'll talk more about the Chiefs. And if they make a trade before the deadline, we'll be back Tuesday afternoon, and we'll break it all down for you. Until then, peace out.
Peace.
All right, guys.
Peace.